So how am I going to start these? Well, I haven't been on YouTube in a while because I've actually been going to school. So I actually go to UC for Cincinnati, and yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. But first thing, I just want to say I am not in the military anymore. I got an honorable discharge on May 15th, 2015, and that is actually the last day that I was in the military. So I'm considered a veteran right now, but I'm not in the military anymore. Um, so I just want to put that out there because I keep getting messages about me being in the military still. I'm not in there anymore, um, but I was active duty. That's what I was. And I got some questions gathered, so I'm just going to answer those really fast because I get messages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and all different types of media, social media, and I can't get to all of them. So I'm gonna get to as many as I can right now, and as many as I can think of. But I'm gonna try to make this short and sweet and simple. So one of the first questions I had was, oh, like, what can you do on the weekend? Well, in the military, after you get out of basic and you get to AIT, and then AIT is still in training, so that's like basic is considered like the elementary school of the whole military life. And then you go to high school and middle school, right? That's like AIT. And then you actually go to college and get a job. That's like your main station and like whatever else happens. So, um, like once you get to AIT and you start getting your freedoms and you become a phase 5, which after like 3 or 4 weeks of being in AIT, you'll get to phase up at that point in time as long as you know everything that you need to know. You know all of your creeds, all of your songs, everything. Then you can get like you can phase up to phase 5, and then you're allowed to go off base on the weekends instead of staying on base on the weekends like phase 4s. You get to go off base. You can go to the club. You can go to the movies. You can only drink and stuff if you're 21 or older, and as long as you are not intoxicating when you come back to base, and as long as you don't bring any alcohol with you back to base, you can drink as much as you want. Just you can't be drunk when you come back. And actually, there was a kid that I knew, and he actually ended up getting drunk, and like the first time that he was phase 5, and he got caught. He went through a lot of trouble. He actually had to stay an extra amount of months in AIT, and he had to stay and basically clean and do stuff for like the sergeant major and stuff, which it wasn't good jobs. Like it was like go I don't know, like you know how there's sidewalks and like the grass grows over the sidewalk on the side. They'll give you like a screwdriver and say, hey, go get the grass from in between each sidewalk square or whatever. I don't know. They'll just make you do really horrible stuff. But yeah, as long as you follow the regulations, you can drink as much as you want. You can go to a club. You can do whatever you want as long as you come back on the time that they say you come back, and you're of age. It's whatever you want to do because you're basically adults. Like you can do whatever you want at this point in time. Um, some of the things that I would say to get ready for basic or just to get ready to go into the military that I didn't know about was like the Army Creed and the Soldier's Creed or whatever, and the Army song, all of that stuff. If you're going into the Army or any branch in general, you should try to figure out all of the requirements that you're going to need to know to graduate, like the creeds and stuff. Like you need to know all of your ranks. You need to know. Sorry, my hand's cut up. You need to know all of your ranks. You need to know like the measurements on where your pins go on your shirt and stuff. Basically, all the little things that you wouldn't really think of. So maybe it's how to fold a sock or something like that. Like that's what I would get ready for. Don't Not so much the physical part, more of the mental memorization part, because you'll be sitting there ready to go in the DFAC, which is the DFAC is another word for cafeteria in the military, and they'll ask you questions like they'll say, who's the sergeant major or something like that, and you have to know instantly like who it is, and like let's say they say, oh, what's the Army Creed? I am an American soldier, I'm a warrior, member of a team. You have to say the whole creed to them. And if you, like, let's say they ask it to you and you don't know it, they will put you in the back of the line. I remember, for instance, when I was in the military, we were all standing in line. And one of the questions they asked me was, who was the 27th president of the United States? I was like, yo, what do you mean? I don't know that. So I sat there and thank the Lord. When I was in elementary school, they taught me the song Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison. That's the song they taught me. I actually had to sing that song to myself, and they put me to the back of the line because I didn't say it quick enough. And I sat there and I said that song over and over again in my head, trying to remember who it was. And I actually ended up having to eat last that day, and it was horrible. Don't ever eat last in the military, because once that last person sits down to eat, that last person is the one that starts the time for everyone to eat. So if you're the first person in line and you go to eat, you have until the very last person in your platoon sits down to eat. You have all of that time to eat. But if you're the last person, you only get 10 minutes to eat, because that's how long you're supposed to get to eat. So usually the bad people, or the kids that cause trouble, or, if you do something wrong, or let's say you get in trouble for not having your bed to Army standards or whatever, they will pull you to the back of the line. You'll eat last. It sucks. And you get, like, sometimes they don't make enough food for everyone, so you have to eat everything off the salad bar or something. So, I don't know. Sometimes it's nice to have, like, meat for. It's literally not as bad as they make you think that it is. It's. I'm not saying it's a walk in the park, but I'm not saying that it's the worst thing you're gonna ever go through. Like, everything they do, they have a reason they're doing it. So if they tell you to do push-ups, or they tell you to go clean this or do that, maybe they're doing it for a reason. So, like, when you go there and they start yelling at you, just think positive. Just think to yourself, okay, I can do this. There's a point to this. Like, they are trying to teach me discipline. They are trying to get me ready for the military so I can be the best I can. So don't take everything they do or say to you seriously. Like, they might sit there and call you out, or make fun of your name, or the way you stand, or the way you walk, or the way you talk, anything. They can make fun of you to break you down. They're supposed to do that. So just brush it off. Like, it's gonna be hard because you're gonna be an emotional wreck if you're a girl. I don't know about the dudes. I was in the base with them, but for the girls, it took me the first week to get over the initial shock. Everybody else, it didn't hit them until after maybe a couple weeks, and then they all got the shock of, oh my god, I'm here. I got that shock like in the first week. And I remember, it's embarrassing to say, I'm about to say it, but I cried. I cried for 2 nights straight, and every night I would go to my bed, I would sit down, and then once you sit down and you have that time to think, and you have that time to be alone, and you can think about whatever you want because everyone's going to sleep, that's when you start thinking about your family or your home, and you start getting sad and like homesick. That's the point in time where it really hit me, and I would start crying because you miss your family. People are yelling at you. You're not allowed to eat whatever you want. Like, it sucked. But, like, you'll get used to it. And, like, once you get used to, like, the food and the way that everything is, you'll understand that, and you'll feel so healthy, and you'll understand exactly why. It's just, it's eye-opening. It really is. So, like, I don't know. I feel like all these questions that I keep getting are the kind of the same ones. It's kind of all, what do I need to do to get ready for it? Like, honestly, there's nothing you can really do to get ready for it. The physical part isn't really the hardest part. The running, the push-ups, all that, you learn that, and they teach it to you. For the girls, you only have to do like 3 push-ups within 1 minute. If you could do 3 push-ups, you're good. Like, it's really honestly so easy. Just get your mind to it before you do it. But it's more mental. Like, you have to remember a lot of things. So don't worry about the running or anything, because they're gonna help you, they're gonna push you, they're gonna teach you, like they're gonna see where everybody's at. Like everybody's gonna end up taking a PT test at the beginning, and they're gonna see where everybody's at, like and they're gonna separate you into groups. Like let's say this person runs her 2 mile within like 13 minutes, right? And then this person over here runs their 2 mile in 18 minutes. They're gonna put you and separate you into groups on how you work out. So you would be separated from the people who run fast to the people who run slow, or the people who do this many sit-ups in so many minutes compared to this one, because they're gonna help work with you to become better. So if you have everybody together running, and you're only running as fast as the slowest person, that person that's running fast, that already can run that fast, isn't getting challenged, you know? So they're gonna separate you, and they're gonna help you become better in the physical body, and you're gonna become more and more healthy and more better at everything if you keep doing it. And when you get to AIT, don't eat sugar. That's the biggest mistake I did. Don't eat candy. Stay to the DFAC food, and try not to eat anything unhealthy unless it's like on the weekends or once a week, because that one bite of that Snickers bar, or that one little taste of that ice cream that you get, is going to ruin everything you worked hard for. During my basic, I got to come home during Christmas because I got Christmas leave, and I didn't listen to anything my drill sergeant said. I was like, F that, I'm going home, I'll eat some ice cream and whatever else. Like, no, don't do it. It's like, they really are looking out for your best interests. If you don't work out when you're at home, or just in general on your own time, you will not get better. So I would do that. And I mean, honestly, just try to remember your ranks. The people who already have the positions, like the president, or I actually haven't been in the military for a year now, so I don't really remember everybody, but I remember it was like my first sergeant was First Sergeant Williams, and she was my basic first sergeant. Okay, so this is Maya. She's just gonna sit in the video because she came over, and I forgot I invited her. Is this live or something? Like AIT and your station, they are going to be your own amount of like people in charge. So there's going to be a first sergeant for each platoon, or I mean each company. There's going to be a first sergeant like an AIT for your company, because you're going to be switching every time depending on. So in basic you go with a bunch of different MOSs. So that's an MOS is your job. And you go with a bunch of different people who have different jobs than you, and you just go and work out and do whatever you're going to do for your basic training. AIT, you're with all of the people in your job, your MOS. So like there's different, people in charge for different companies, if you understand what I'm saying. That's how that all works together. So I would just figure out what basic you're going to. Figure out if you're going to Fort Jackson, Fort Leonard Wood, Fort whatever, and then you can figure out who you need to remember and stuff like that. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted, but I guess I'm gonna end the video. That's it. That's all I want to say. If there's any other questions, please comment. Please try to get a hold of me somehow so I can make these videos for you, because I love making these videos. It's hard when everybody messages me on like Instagram or Twitter and says, hey, can you answer these for me? And I'm just like, I mean, yeah, and then like I get like 100 more, and I'm like, whoa, okay. So I think it's easier to answer your questions on here. So if you guys have any questions I'm not covering, specific questions, I can answer them for you. But yeah, I'm not in the military anymore. I got an honorable discharge, and anything else you guys have, any questions or anything, let me know. I'll be happy to help you guys.